I am fascinated by the idea of green wealth, which I have created or coined the word, the phrase, as money, which is which is circulated so much, which is comes to the help of so many people who actually can utilize it, is called green wealth. And in that process there is no restriction, no constraint in accessing that money. So what if a tiny idea changes the entire world? So that is my idea. And might be trash or old items can be uh, the one of the ideas. I have seen people making a huge business out of waste plastic bottles, just shaping them and coloring them. Or can be your thinking, whatever your ideas are, or like whatever your ideas into bags, bricks, etc. I create a kind of warm clothes out of the cotton bed sheets, and also I repurpose the bottles. And smile, money plus greenery is what green wealth is. So, can waste make you rich? This is a point to ponder. Think over this and let us see what happens. And if you have come up with some idea, let me know. Together, maybe we can create something.
All right, let's just jump right in. We hear it all the time, right? Dream big, shoot for the moon. But what if the real secret to building something massive, something truly incredible, isn't about taking some giant leap? What if it's actually about a series of tiny, deliberate, almost invisible steps? That's what we're digging into today, this idea of the architecture of mastery, something you build one small piece at a time. But first, let's just kind of check in with ourselves. This question, it's not really about how big your ultimate dream is. No, it's about the size of your next step. I want you to think about this. Are you maybe underestimating what you can pull off with what you've got right here, right now? And this is this central conflict, isn't it? It feels like a total paradox. I mean, how can something so small, like reading just one page or writing a single line of code or making one phone call, how can that possibly build the huge, grand future you're imagining? Well, let's break down why this isn't a paradox at all. In fact, it's a super practical roadmap. Okay,
Can a tiny idea shape the world, change the entire world? So, the old thinking versus the new thinking. I can do this. I'll try small today. And the message is small thinking is stuck, smart thinking is growth. So, are you stuck or are you growing? Think about that. A small idea actually can take you ways, take you distance, but it can make you small, stuck also. Think over it.
again for a second. This hidden power you have, it isn't some finite resource that's going to run out. Think of it more like a current that's just always flowing. The only way to waste it is by not tapping into it, by just letting all that energy scatter without any direction. And that tap, that access point to all that hidden power, it's always an idea. I love how the source material puts it, asking, what idea can grow your life? And look, it doesn't have to be some earth-shattering, world-changing idea to begin with. It just has to be a single thought that you decide to act on. So if we all have this
Can a small idea change the whole world? That is my idea, and my idea is green wealth, as I have been saying in so many ways. So, she had old clothes, she made bags, now 100 women earn. How about such a dream? Do you have such a dream? A small idea, old clothes, you might have thrown those clothes out, but now you are making a fortune, not only for you, but for an entire community of 100 women.
power, and we all have the ability to come up with ideas. What's stopping us? What's getting in the way? Well, there's one obstacle that stands taller than pretty much all the others, and it's time we just face it head on. Now this is a really powerful reframe. How many times have you said, "Ugh, I'm just stuck"? It feels like hitting a concrete wall, right? A total dead end. But what if you're not actually stuck? What if you're just scared? See, stuck feels so permanent, so trapping, but scared? That's just a temporary emotion. That's something you can move through. This changes everything about the experience. Instead of running away from fear, think about it this way. What if fear is your teacher? What does that even mean? Well, it means that fear only shows up when you're right at the edge of your comfort zone. It's not a stop sign. It's actually a signpost, and it's pointing you directly toward the area where you're meant to grow the most. So, okay, with that brand new perspective in mind, ask yourself this question. That thing you called being stuck, what's the actual fear hiding behind it? Is it a fear of failing? Maybe a fear of succeeding? Or just a fear of the unknown? Just naming it, putting a word to it, that's the very first step to finally moving past it. Okay, let's talk about the power of small wins.
Can a small idea change the whole world? So that is my idea, pet idea, around green wealth. And so I have this framework which is called Revitalex. What does that mean? It is like resilience, time management, vision, acceptance, legacy, and expansion. So this revitalex things, it brings different meaning at different times in your career. So if you want to know more about that, then you can come to my Sunday class at 3:30 p.m. when we conduct this 45 minutes discovery call. Most of the time it is one to one if you are lucky enough to book a slot beforehand. But even in a group, you will learn, you will know, you will listen to multiple ideas, multiple questions, and also some people who actually ask of disbelief. So that is there. Come and let us experience the entire thing. 6 steps to follow big life. How about that?
Let's talk about the power of small wins. So far, we've identified this potential we all have inside us, and we've called out the fear that gets in the way. So now what we need is a method, a practical, repeatable system that helps us move right through that fear and start building some serious, unstoppable momentum. And this is the engine of your growth. It's called incremental mastery. And it's not about these grand, heroic, one-time efforts. Nope. It's a much quieter philosophy. The key words to remember here are small, consistent, and deliberate. And trust me, every single one of those words is absolutely essential. And do they ever? Small wins really can change everything. And this isn't just some feel-good idea, it's actual science. See, every time you get a small win, it does two things. First, obviously, it moves you a little bit closer to your goal. But second, and this is the cool part, it literally rewires your brain. Each little victory gives you a hit of dopamine, and that creates this positive feedback loop that builds the confidence and the motivation you need to take the next small step. So, how do you actually do this? Well, it's this incredibly simple but powerful 3-step loop. Step 1, start small. And I mean like way smaller than you even think you need to. You want to write a book? Just start with 1 sentence. That's it. Step 2, stay simple. The action should be so ridiculously easy that you just can't say no to it. Don't overcomplicate things. And then step 3, repeat consistently. This is where the magic happens. You just do it again tomorrow and the next day. That's it. That is the whole game. And this is so, so crucial. You have to remember, simple beats perfect always. Perfectionism is the absolute enemy of consistency. That need to get everything just right before you start, that's the very thing that keeps most people from ever starting. A simple, messy, imperfect action you take today is 1,000,000 times more valuable than the perfect action you're planning to take, someday. So we've got our...
What small green idea can I try today? Are you wondering about such a thing when you are hearing me out about green wealth? So, wait for some time. Think over it, what will be that small idea in your life, very specific to you, which can change the life, and you think that you cannot do enough all by yourself to make it happen. Come join our community, and here we'll together, not in one day of course, we'll together build some idea, a big idea, ultimately.
All right, let's talk about your first step. What if you just start today? We've covered the why and the how. There's really only one thing left to talk about: when. And you know what? The answer to that question is always the same. I mean, just forget waiting for the right time or the right mood or for inspiration to strike. That is a trap, and it's a trap that keeps us waiting forever. This question, what if now is your moment? It's not hypothetical. It's a direct challenge to you. Your moment of power, the only point where you can actually make a change, is always and only right now. And that's the beautiful simplicity of this whole thing. You don't need to have a 5-year plan all mapped out. You don't need to have all the answers figured out. All you need to do is take that first teeny tiny simplest step. The only thing required is just to begin. So that's what I really want to leave you with. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. What is one tiny little action you can take right now that lines up with the future you want to build? The entire architecture of your life, it really can change with that one single, simple answer.